Hello everyone, I am Ray Liu and I have the great privilege to serve as the 2022 President of the IEEE. I want to share a warm welcome to all of the participants. For those of you who are already IEEE members, thank you. I am honored to be your colleague. Let me share my vision with you. For those of you who are not, perhaps my brief following remarks will provide you with some insight into what IEEE does, what it can do for you, and what we can accomplish together. Do you know IEEE is no longer the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers? It is simply IEEE. My vision is to make it simply your professional home. It is the home of engineers, scientists, technologists, practitioners, and entrepreneurs who form the community of IEEE. Our members are experts from the highest echelons of industry and academia and are in every vital area of technology, spanning almost every area one can think of. Our members are computer scientists and electrical, mechanical, and electronic engineers. They are physicists and biologists who use our tool in their daily work. They are entrepreneurs and marketeers who build their business on our technology. They are technicians who demonstrate their proficiency through their technical work. And they are teachers who share their knowledge with their students of science and technology. Long gone are the days when a technologist can count on lifelong employment with a single company. My plan is to build IEEE to be our members' home base, the home for your entire career, to help you with career growth through continuing learning and skill training, job opportunities that offer better career and professional opportunities, mentoring by connecting you with respected colleagues who can guide you, and peer networking by building a strong sense of community. In IEEE, your professional home, we have suites of product and service, including publications, conference, lifelong learning opportunities, society and council, session and chapter, and standards, all available for our members to personalize to meet their desired needs. From when you first join IEEE as a student member until retirement, this professional home offers the product and service required for every stage of your career. IEEE can help ensure you have successful career development with great prospects even when changing jobs. Through the continual learning of practical content and training of new skills relevant to your work to advance your career, IEEE not only provides technology tools, but also personal connections that can help mentor and nurture your career path. Most important, IEEE helps professionals grow their soft skills, such as leadership and the ability for cross-disciplinary collaborations. In essence, IEEE offers you a whole new way of thinking and self-knowledge to consider while advancing along your career path, and for you to use throughout your life. IEEE is a community of career support and professional growth with worldwide network. IEEE is your professional home. I encourage all of today's participants, IEEE members and non-members, to engage with IEEE's activity and initiative, inspire participation from fellow colleagues, and maximize all that your IEEE membership does for you, for our professional communities, and for the benefit of humanity. Thank you. I wish you all a successful event. Please take care of yourself and each other.
Greetings. I'm Metin Akay, the president of IEEE Engineering in Medicine and Biology Society. I'm delighted to be part of IEEE Day, and today I'm going to share with you EMBS Strategic Initiatives Next Decade. IEEE EMBS is the oldest and largest biomedical engineering society in the world. It was built in 1952, name changed to EMBS in 1963. Our mission is to foster and promote the global biomedical engineering innovation, research, and education. Vision is to be leading global society of biomedical engineering. Our aim is to improve the lives of all humanity, as well as to increase general awareness on the impact of biomedical engineering innovations in healthcare, the economy, and society. We have more than 12,000 members, more than 2,000 students, and we have student chapters and clubs more than 100 countries. In our conferences, we always have more than 100 participating countries. Our society has been sponsoring international summer school to create next generation leaders in the field of emerging fields of biomedical engineering. It's a 1-week immersion courses for graduate and undergraduate students with expert faculty. Among these summer school is biomedical imaging, which is the oldest one, started in France. Biomedical signal processing started in Italy, and the BioX initially was at Dartmouth College, New Hampshire, then Turkey, and currently right now in Crete, Greece. Medical devices, biosensors, Hong Kong, and information technology in biomedicine, Greece, neural engineering in China, and computer models in medicine, East Coast of the United States. These summer schools are indeed exceptional platforms to interact with students and to prepare them for the healthcare innovation challenges and opportunities in the future. It's a scientific, social, and cultural event. The slide that I'm sharing with you, summer school from the Crete, which is the one of a unique, the summer school, and the acceptance rate is always less than 10%, and we only admit no more than 30 students each year. And the focus of the summer school BioX has been on currently data science and engineering in healthcare, medicine, and biology. Next one will be held in Crete at the same place, and again focusing on data science and engineering in healthcare, medicine, and biology. I strongly encourage the students to apply IEEE EMBS summer school and also be attend the summer school and also actively involved and present and learn and interact with the other students. Our society has been sponsoring 13 journals, among them Gold Open Access Journal on the IEEE Open Journal of Engineering in Medicine and Biology, and the IEEE Journal of Translational Engineering in Health and Medicine, and Open Access Transaction on Neural System Rehabilitation Engineering. We also have sponsored journals, IEEE Pulse, as you know all well, IEEE Transaction on Biomedical Engineering, which is our flagship journal, and the reviews in Biomedical Engineering and the Journal of Biomedical Health Informatics. In addition, we have co-sponsored journals, including Transaction on Medical Imaging, and the transaction on nanobioscience, transactions on biomedical circuits and systems, and the computational imaging, and the radiation and plasma medical sciences, and the Journal of Electromagnetic RF and Microwaves, transaction on medical robotics and bionics. I'm pleased to inform you all that is the impact factors of our journal significantly increased. Currently, we have 2 journals impact factor above 7. First one is IEEE reviews in biomedical engineering, and the Professor Y.T. Jung did a fantastic job. We just received the impact factor for the journal, impact factor M7. The second is the IEEE Journal of Biomedical Health Informatics. I am always impressed with the hard work and dedication of Professor Dimitris Protiadis from Greece. The journal is one of the premier journals in biomedical health informatics area. IEEE transaction led by Shangchang Peng, and our impact factor is 4.76. Transaction neural system rehabilitation engineering led by Professor Daniel Ferris, impact factor is 4.59. Transaction nanobioscience led by Dan Nicolau, and impact factor 3.21. Transactions by Leslie Ying, impact factor is 11, more than 11. Delighted to see these numbers going up. IEEE JTAM, led by the Richard Riley, is 2.89, and open access led by Paolo Bonato, and site factor 4.7. 4.7. We look forward to get our impact factors very soon. IEEE EMBS Society recognizes and values the role of women scientists and engineers have played in our overall societal success. We pledge to continue promote female scientists and engineers by encouraging involvement in our conferences, publications, technical activities, membership activities. We will continue to actively invite them to fulfill leadership role in our society. In fact, our society was among the one of the 4 societies initially had the strong pledge to promote women in science and engineering. We participated Women in Engineering Leadership Summit, and I had the pleasure and honor to also attend the opening ceremony. Our new initiative next decade, we will continue to support summer schools. I strongly believe that summer schools are very important to really create the next generation leaders, and also to listen to the young people. Young people always talk about the future. We have established the public forums. We established presidential distinguished lecturer program, established IEEE EMBS regional conferences, and we significantly increased inter-society collaborations. Public forums are unique. They provide a unique platform for scientists, engineers, and students to focus on healthcare innovations, as well as the need for paradigm shift in healthcare and economic growth. They have exposed our students, postdocs, and junior faculty to many careers and the networking opportunities in global healthcare market. We had one of the most comprehensive, the COVID-19 forum, and the focusing on healthcare, screening, tracing, and treatment. It was 4 days event, and for each day, we focus on each of these items. The last one was during the COVID-19 forum. As you can see, grand challenges in COVID-19 treatment. We had the pleasure to host 7 distinguished scientists from healthcare industry. Second global forum, we focus on data science and engineering in healthcare. Again, it was 4 days forum, and the first day we focus on medical imaging, second day precision medicine, third day digital healthcare, and finally we focus on brain and the neural systems. And the first day medical imaging, we had the pleasure 9 distinguished speakers, and the third public forum we organized and we led the healthcare tech industry trends. This is very important for our society, and because strategically right now we are focusing on more industry and also clinical the clinician participation in our conferences, in our journals. So I also believe that this has been the public forum on healthcare tech industry was one of the most comprehensive the healthcare industry for IEEE and also IEEE EMBS society. It was again 4 days activities. First day we focus on innovative medical device industry, digital health industry, biopharm biotech industry, neurotech industry. Each day we hosted 7 to 9 distinguished speakers from industry and from small, mid-sized, and well-established companies. And the first symposium was the innovative medical device industry. Second, as you can see, the biopharm biotech industry I displayed, and also the neurotech industry. And I'm honored to inform you that most of our speakers were female distinguished industrial leaders. The third, the forum, we just have it in the Crete, and this was also co-sponsored by Technical University of Crete. The focus on the healthcare innovation public forum. We hosted the 8 distinguished speakers, and we were delighted to have the Professor Tavanarakis, who's the Vice President for the European Science the Research Council. In 2022, and we are going to focus on 2 public forums. The first one, it will be held in Tel Aviv, Israel, and with it's the joint public forum with the IEEE Engineering, Medicine and Biology Society and Tel Aviv University. It will be on October 19 and 20 this year. And the second one, we are going to have the Global Healthcare Innovations Public Forum. This will be jointly held by the Botswana Institute, the Technological Research Institute in Sub-Saharan Africa. Our society will be first time ever in Israel, first time ever in Sub-Saharan Africa. In Tel Aviv, it's going to be public forum will be free. It will be both in person and also online. And it was co-sponsored, also technically co-sponsored by Columbia Biomedical Engineering Department and also the Walter Coulter Department of Biomedical Engineering at Georgia Tech and Emory and University of Houston Biomedical Engineering Department. First day, we are going to have 2 symposiums. First symposium will be focused on data science and engineering in healthcare, and we will have 7 distinguished speakers, and several of them are from industry, and some of them from the clinical, the practitioners, and also from academia. The second symposium will focus on data science and engineering in medical imaging and informatics. And the second day, we are going to have the 2 more symposiums, and the data science and engineering in medicine, biology and neuroscience, and also data science and engineering in big biodata and data analytics. And we will also have a data science panel. As I indicated before, our society just established the Presidential Distinguished Lecturer Program, and we have expanded list of the diverse distinguished lecturers from which the society can select from different functions, webinars, and initiatives. And our program built on the industry-focused seminars based on leading-edge BME topics from industry perspective and the discussion on different elements of the business and being an entrepreneur. I strongly encourage you, that our students and chapters, to get in touch with these distinguished lecturers, invite them for your activities in your chapters and clubs. And we have currently 7 distinguished lecturers, presidential distinguished lecturers. In fact, we have already have the Mike Hess, who participated in the IEEE EMBS Society 2020 conferences. Delighted to have Professor Hayat Greenspan and also Natalie Raj Kirsting as well. IEEE EMBS starts sponsoring regional conferences, as I indicated. This year, we will have 2 regional conferences, and one of them will be held in Hungary. It's organized by the colleagues from University of Pécs, and it's going to be held in October 24, 26, and the second one in China, Biomedical Engineering Informatics, and also the computer science, oriented. The Hungary one, and they're going to have more than 6 the plenary speakers, the speakers from industry, from also the academia, and will be also presenting their works. Next year, we are going to have more regional conferences. In Mexico, we will have October 2nd and 4th, and also the Tunisia in September 2023, Thailand, May 2023, and India, August 2023, and Uganda, August 2023. In Tunisia, I had the pleasure to attend IEEE Region 8 Young Professional and Student activities. And delighted to also see our EMBS chapters, as well as also other society chapters. It was a very unique event. And also we had IEEE EMBS student EDCA member Andre Çakıcı was also present, and they gave the 2 talks, and as well as we all interacted with the students from different chapters. That I will take this opportunity also to thank the IEEE EMBS Chapter Development Committee. I'm fascinated with their hard work, and I'm pleased to almost like 1 or 2 new chapters every week to approve as the president. And the core committee members, and especially I want to single out the Professor Lee, and also the Carolyn and the McGregor, Professor Carolyn McGregor, who's also served as the vice president for membership and student activities, and also the Laura Wolf, she's the executive director of the IEEE EMBS, as well as also Didra, the artist, and the EMBS, the executive office members, and also the Kanita. She has been our ambassador and digital media, the manager for our post. And as you can see, our regional committee members, I'm grateful for their hard work and dedication. Our society also significantly increased the number of student activities, and we have the conferences we call the international student conferences. These conferences are organized, run, and also managed by the students. And I'm delighted to be part of it, the IEEE, the EMBS international student conferences in Kampala, Uganda, and I will be speaking with the students on October 4 and 5. As I mentioned, we also increase the inter-society collaboration, and we are a major partner of the Brain Initiative run and the Brain Discovery and the Brain Mind Body workshop. This workshop was initiated by Gert Kampenberg and myself at the USC, and we are going to have the third one in the November 9 and 10. And 2021, we had a great honor and pleasure to Holly Jimison, Professor Holly Jimison, as one of the keynote speakers also. IEEE Digital Reality, which is the new initiative for the Future Directions, IEEE Future Directions. I'm delighted to inform you that we have been heavily involved and interacted. And also the new initiative, Digital Privacy, pleased to see that is one of the three major initiatives is healthcare. I would like to mention before I close the 2050, healthcare will be different. As you can see, we are engineering healthcare as we engineered medicine and biology. In 2050, and I believe that we made a smart start initiating regional conferences, since we really need the more and more regional conferences, and since they really help us globally connected. Healthcare innovations, artificial intelligence has been revolutionized and will continue redesign healthcare completely. That's why, as a society, we had one of the most comprehensive data science and engineering in healthcare forum, and also we are going to have the next month in October, and in Israel, joint with Tel Aviv University, EMBS will host 30 global leaders from academia, from industry, from different parts of the world, from US, EU, and the European Union, and Africa, Asia, and also colleagues from Israel. And we are going to have 2 days, very unique, the forms. We are going to share also via YouTube, the presentations there. Digital technology will continue to transform the existing healthcare system into the sustainable, affordable, accessible one. So what we need to do 2050, we really need to change our conferences, and the content of the conferences should be more the translational, more healthcare and entrepreneurship, more healthcare innovation. We need more interaction with healthcare industry. We need more interaction from clinicians. So therefore, our conferences must be appealing our members. And also, we need to really mobilize our speakers to the different parts of the world, and have more and more regional conferences, more and more international student conferences. We need to empower our chapters. We need to empower our region. We will continue supporting women in science and engineering. It's not just as the conference organizers, not also publication and also leadership position. I am delighted to see 8 out of 11 newly elected AdCom members are females. Last year also, we had a record number of the females, and our AdCom will be majority of the AdCom members in 2023 will be women. And I look really forward to seeing one of our next presidents as female as well. I'm delighted, and I'm pleased, and I'm keen on the promoting to their cause and also their promotion. Before I finish, and I really wish good luck to all, wishing the best for the success of our chapters in participation in IEEE Day. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to this exciting Engineering in Medicine and Biology Society event for IEEE Day, proudly brought to you by the EMBS Chapter Development Committee, and I'm really grateful for all the chapters and all the activities that have been arranged as part of this event. My name's Professor Carolyn McGregor, and I'm the Vice President of Member and Student Activities within EMBS. In my day job, I am the Associate Dean for Research and Graduate Studies in the Faculty of Business and IT at Ontario Tech, and I also am the Director of a joint research centre in Artificial Intelligence for Health and Wellness between Ontario Tech University here in Canada and the University of Technology in Sydney, Australia. EMBS is the oldest and the largest biomedical society or biomedical engineering society in the world. We have more than 10,000 members, of which more than 2,000 are students, and over 100 participating countries in our society. Within EMBS, we host a flagship journal, Transactions on Biomedical Engineering, that was founded in 1953. The mission of EMBS is to foster and promote global biomedical engineering innovations, research and education. And our vision is to be a leading global society of biomedical engineers, digital health professionals and health informaticians. Our aim is to improve the lives of all humanity, as well as to increase general awareness of the impact of biomedical engineering innovations in healthcare, the economy, and the society. And to achieve this, we've built a vibrant global ecosystem of engineers and scientists, physicians, healthcare professionals, and industry leaders. In this ecosystem, we openly exchange ideas, disseminate our research, and share data and protocols. Our society sponsors 13 different journals, and they're listed here on the screen. And we have very strong impact factors across all of our journals. We host a number of regional-based activities, including student conferences. And here we've advertised the student conference that will be occurring in Uganda this year. EMBS is heavily committed to supporting equity, diversity and inclusion, and this is exemplified through our EMBS pledge in partnership with Women in Engineering of IEEE. IEEE EMBS recognises and values the role of women scientists and engineers, the role that they have played in our overall societal success since 1952, when the society first came into being. EMBS pledges to continue to promote female scientists and engineers by encouraging involvement in our conferences, publications, as well as technical and membership activities and committees. And we'll continue to actively recruit and invite a diverse membership to fulfil leadership roles in our society and provide opportunities and recognition for their contributions to our community. Next year, we're proud to host our flagship conference for EMBS in Sydney, Australia, from the 24th to the 28th of July. I'm really looking forward to people having the opportunity to come to my homeland of Australia for that annual conference. But today, I want to take us back to this wonderful event, and I want to extend my sincere thanks to all those in the EMB Chapter Development Committee. This is one of the committees in EMBS, and it's made up of a number of regional representatives as well as the core committee that you can see across the top. And this provides us with a really efficient way and an ecosystem so that we can link with the grassroots of our chapters out in the community around the world, with our administrative team, our executive team, and those supporting us from IEEE. They've been actively engaging and networking with all the chapters. They outreach to EMBS chapters frequently to really help them become more vibrant and leading and generating the activities in the chapters. We're creating a friendly environment with an informative web page on the EMBS website that has useful information for the chapters. We celebrate EMBS Day, which is in March, and we create videos that are useful to new and old chapter chairs on winning the EMBS Outstanding Chapter Award. We're kickstarting and managing a chapter networking and various funding opportunities. We have elevation to senior member programs, together with a number of other programs that we're really working on and providing mechanisms for funding support for our chapters for some of their initiatives. But more specifically, on this auspicious day, the IEEE Day, I'd like to congratulate the Chapter Development Committee for taking up the initiative to celebrate the IEEE Day to remember in gratitude our forefathers in electrical professions who formed a new organisation to support professionals in this particular field to aid them in their efforts to apply innovation for the betterment of humanity. With the American Institute of Electrical Engineers, the IEEE, in the spring of 1884. In the spirit of EMBS Family, to make 2022 IEEE Day especially meaningful, the Chapter Development Committee has succeeded in gathering speakers, emeritus professors, distinguished professors, associate professors from about 40 EMBS chapters and technical committees, standing tall in a relay lineup of 16 hours or thereabouts to showcase their research to a wide audience, including the public and especially for our students, to enhance the awareness of biomedical engineering and digital health. Their presentations will premiere today and will also be deposited to a specially created EMBS YouTube playlist, which will be titled the IEEE Day EMBS Chapters Torch Relay Public Webinar. So it'll be a resource for educating biomedical engineering and health informatics students and others to leverage technology for a better tomorrow. They're available for download, use and sharing by anyone for the purpose of membership drive, school programs, sharing and local science communities. In addition, riding on the tradition of EMB Day, as a day of gratitude, the Chapter Development Committee, in collaboration with the Social Media Committee of EMBS, have to extend the EMBS appreciation to all of the chapters by enhancing their global visibility through storytelling, photos on their activities, to leveraging technology for a better tomorrow. Their One Chapter, One Story will be shown here today, posted on all the EMBS social media and saved on the new Chapter Development Committee's website as exemplars to new coming chapters, and we're grateful to have 25 EMB chapters to have shared their stories on this launch. With that, I would really like to congratulate the IEEE EMBS Chapter Torch Relay Public Webinar and the IEEE EMBS One Chapter, One Story project. I'd like to thank the IEEE President, Ray Liu, the EMBS current standing presidents, Metin Akai, and all the presenters, all EMBS chapter chairs, technical committee chairs, and last but not least, the chapter development committee, and in particular, the current chair, Yu Kwan Lee, who have made this such a special event for IEEE Day. And I'd also like to thank Kanita for all her help in bringing together all of these presentations. I really hope that you enjoy it. One of the presentations is from me on creating new computing and engineering tools for monitoring astronauts in space. We have a number of other really exciting presentations. So I really hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much. If you're not already a member of the Engineering, Medicine, Biology Society in IEEE, then please do consider joining. As you can see, we have some great opportunities for career development, for networking, mentorship, and many other areas as well. So thank you. I hope you enjoy the program, and happy IEEE Day. Hello, and welcome to this presentation for the IEEE Day Engineering in Medicine and Biology Society's Chapter Torch Relay. My name's Professor Carolyn McGregor, and today I'll be presenting on my research for astronaut health, wellness, resilience, and adaptation on long-range missions. Currently, astronauts are carrying out various research projects on the International Space Station. And as part of that, we're doing more research to understand how human physiology adapts and changes while in space. In this diagram, you can see two different astronauts wearing two different types of electrocardiogram monitoring device that's being used on the International Space Station. So we use these for research to understand how their bodies are adapting in space. The environment of space is an extreme environment. They are impacted by weightlessness, the challenges of being in a confined space, in some cases for up to a year or even more, the challenges of increased radiation. But in addition to those elements that are really unique to space, they're also susceptible to terrestrial medical conditions. And we also need to be mindful beyond their physical health. We need to be mindful of their mental health during the mission, and also to monitor them post-mission for the restoration of their health back on Earth. In general, it can take up to a year for their bones, for example, and their muscles to return to the pre-mission state before flight. This diagram provides a summary of physiological and psychological impacts to humans when in space. It is part of a chapter in this new book on engineering and medicine in extreme environments that I've co-edited with Tobias Siebes. And in this book, we have two chapters on engineering and medicine in the space environment. One chapter outlining the impact on physiology, and the other chapter looking at computing systems that are being put in place. So in this diagram, we outline a summary of musculoskeletal, cardiovascular system, neurosensory system, immune system, and metabolic changes that occur to the human body or have been found to occur to the human body in space. In my own research, I'm interested in understanding more about the cardiovascular system decommissioning in space. And that actually has implications on neurosensory system and the immune system in space as well. For the musculoskeletal system, with muscle atrophy and the loss of strength, there have been countermeasures introduced in space, such as the CVIS cyclometer, which allows them to utilise essentially an exercise bike in space, because otherwise they don't need to exert the energy we would normally need to do through walking or running to move around on Earth when they're in space. So their muscles and their bones don't get the same exercise that they do on Earth. From a psychological perspective, they are at risk of developing anxiety, depression. They have to deal with the physical isolation of that spacecraft environment for months at a time, social deprivation of their usual social circle, family and friends on Earth, although in recent years, with the changes in functionality of the internet and tools that utilise the internet, they have been able to make improvements in that regard. They deal with confinement, a lack of privacy, restricted and enforced interpersonal contacts, which require them to work as a team of the astronauts who are on the space station. Environmentally, they deal with radiation, increased exposures, solar flares, the toxicity of the cabin environment, and a lack of closed-loop life support. So this really does help to demonstrate why this is such an extreme environment. In space, traditionally, the assessment of their health is performed discontinuously. They have periodic health assessments and checklists that they perform, with terrestrial guidelines coming from a flight surgeon located on Earth. When they do have issues with their health or wellness, there is a range of initiatives for differential diagnosis, and we work predominantly with known pathophysiologies of disease, so known onsets of disease that are on Earth, and also the variants of that in space. And in this diagram you can see crew members from the STS-40 mission doing some blood draw information. But as you can see, with this discontinuous assessment, they're not able to utilise some of the things we do on Earth now with more frequent and ongoing assessment of health. In my own research, from about 2007 onwards, I have been creating a new form of computing platform to ingest high-frequency physiological data, initially from preterm infants, from a range of the medical devices they had at the bedside. We initially deployed a pilot of this project known as Artemis, named after the Greek goddess of childbearing, in 2009 as a solution for providing artificial intelligence for health in this setting, and using this non-invasive way of monitoring physiological data to be able to watch for changes in those measurements at a very high frequency and very subtle changes that can be associated with the potential onset of a range of different conditions. So through that work, with a 2-axis example, some of the features we look at are heart rate variability and respiration rate variability in this population. And we've been able to show that with heart rate variability and respiration rate variability at a baseline state, the baby is classed as being in what's known as a feeding and growing state. So they are still trying to grow and develop outside the womb, but they are considered to be stable in that feeding and growing state. If their heart rate variability is low, it could be the onset of a number of medical conditions, one of which is sepsis or hospital-acquired infection, that can be deadly for them. It could also mean that they require a blood transfusion. And there are different patterns of heart rate variability that we found. If both heart rate and respiration rate variability are low, then we've been able to show in my own research that they can be, or that they are being impacted by certain sedatives like the fentanyl or morphine. And interestingly, we've shown that it's very rare that heart rate variability will be at baseline and the respiration rate variability is low, and that has been linked with certain rare conditions that the babies can develop. So what I've been able to lead the development of is creating this platform that can ingest real-time, high-frequency physiological data and watch for change in date. So a few years ago now, I proposed to the Canadian Space Agency that we could use this same approach with the support of an introduction of former astronaut Dave Williams from Canada. I presented my research to the Canadian Space Agency showing that the Artemis platform, which is shown here, could be deployed on a space station. Or on any spacecraft. So rather than the patient, as in the neonates, being connected to medical devices that we'd acquire data from, in this case, we would acquire data from the astronauts. We'd watch for a range of different features in their different vital signs, their physiology, and we would use that to watch for a range of conditions and changes in health state that we could then present the results for them to see and also to store the data. With the data stored, we can use that data to explore and look for patterns that correlate with the onset of certain conditions, and were those patterns and behaviours found to support null hypothesis testing and other scientific method testing, then we can deploy those new algorithms into the environment. But when communication is available with Earth, we can download all of this high-frequency data to Earth-based storage, perform more analysis here on Earth to look ultimately for new algorithms that we can deploy into the environment. We can also demonstrate and display the results. So here is a couple of examples of some environments that I've been using for my research before I started doing my studies in space. There are a range of what we call analog sites on Earth that provide various replicas of environments in space. So this is the Mars 500 facility. It is where a group of astronauts were isolated for 500 days to replicate the isolation of traveling to Mars, circling in the Mars orbit and coming back. So on the right-hand side, you can see in the sort of light brown color these cylinders that form the shape of the spacecraft. So this is the spacecraft that the astronauts occupied for those 500 days. And then you can see coming up to the left-hand side, there's this ramp going up. So that has some stairs. So halfway through the mission, they were able to come out the hatch, go up the stairs, and in the middle of the screen, you can see me standing in a space with some sand and gravel mix on the ground. That was the simulated Mars surface. They were able to come out to this simulated surface and run some experiments and then go down the stairs and back into the capsule or the spacecraft for the remainder of the journey. Top left, you can see the access portal hole where you enter into the spacecraft, and bottom left, you can see 6 women who participated in 2015 in an all-female crew isolation experiment simulating a 7-day mission to the moon. So we were measuring the women's physiology while they utilised this analog mission. They were trying out garments, the fit of garments for women to wear, many other aspects in that experiment. Another form of experiment that is utilised is what we know as dry immersion. down the bottom of the screen, you can see a side view where the participant floats in a pool of body temperature water. On the right hand side, you can see that their bodies are protected from the water by a membrane, and their heads stay out of the water while the rest of their body floats. This provides an analogue for the impact of weightlessness in space. It's not a true analogue because their heads are outside of the floating environment. On the right-hand side, you can see the dry immersion tanks that are utilised in MEDES by the European Space Agency. And you can see on the left-hand side the dry immersion tanks that are in the Russian Institute for Biomedical Problems, where I was many years ago in Moscow. And so we've gathered data on the electrocardiogram and heart rate of participants when they float for days at a time in this space, with breaks for hygiene, but very brief breaks. So I alluded to these before. These are electrocardiogram monitoring devices that are deployed on the International Space Station. The Cosmocard device is used by Russia. It is a ruggedized Holter-style monitor for electrocardiogram. So it's a store and forward device. Due to a number of limitations, which I'll get to in a moment, on the International Space Station, both these solutions are store and forward devices. They don't live stream the data. On the right-hand side is the Astroscan with the complete package known as Biomonitor that's been deployed jointly, provisioned by Canadian Space Agency and operationalised in space by NASA. And you can see in the top right, David Zentjak wearing the Biomonitor and holding the data logger downlink, which I'll explain in a moment. But he commissioned the Biomonitor equipment in space in December of 2019. So the Biomonitor actually enables recording of a lot more than just the electrocardiogram. Both devices, by nature of gathering electrocardiogram, allow chest wall movement for breathing and breathing rates to be measured. The Biomonitor also has a headband. The headband measures blood oxygen saturation through plasmography. And so we have a pulse rate and blood oxygen saturation monitoring. There's also various sensors for accelerometer and movement, blood pressure, etc. from this Biomonitor device. So I've used the Biomonitor device as part of the Axiom AX-1 all-private astronaut mission that occurred earlier this year. I was able to monitor physiology during this, before, during and after this historic all-private astronaut mission. So these 4 astronauts are civilians. They are not career astronauts, and they were able to pay to travel on the SpaceX Dragon transport to the International Space Station and spend a planned initial 11 days. In reality, due to the delays in return because of the weather, they were there for several days longer. But they were performing very important scientific research for civilians travelling in space, along with a number of other new technology for space scientific experiments. So during this mission, there was the wearing of the Biomonitor garment and measuring of physiology, and I have some new research coming out on the result. So this again is the Biomonitor device. You can see that David Zentjak is holding this data logger. The data logger or this downlink capacity, it allows these data loggers that you connect to the garment when it's being worn to be docked into this docking station on the space station to downlink the data. More of my research you can find online at the Canadian Space Agency website, where it outlines the goals of my particular mission. My mission is called Space Health. That's where I'll be continuing my research with monitoring career astronauts as well as what I've collected for the private astronauts. To downlink the data, that we have, or NASA has installed this tracking and data relay satellite infrastructure that can communicate and receive data on radio frequency from the space station. It's limited to, for all communications with the space station, to 600 megabits per second. So less in many cases, less transfer than what many people can have in their homes. But this is required, as I said, for all forms of communication from the space station, and one of the limiting reasons of why data isn't live streamed from the astronauts. One of the other projects that I'm working on, though, is to provide new capacity beyond the space station to much more distant missions, initially from the Moon and then ultimately from Mars. In support of that, I'm collaborating with Comstar and their affiliate Laserlight Communications. And Comstar are deploying a new form of dual hybrid optical and radio frequency satellite that will be within 41,500 roughly miles from the Moon, 225,000 miles from Earth. This satellite will enable optical communication, which will take communication delays down to a few seconds at the speed of light, rather than the much more significant delays we have with radio frequency, and the bandwidth for communications will be much higher as well. The Comstar infrastructure includes a halo network of satellites around Earth to receive data from Comstar and receive it down to ground stations as well. So in my research, in order to progress space research, I'm collaborating with a number of the space agencies, with the Russian Institute of Biomedical Problems, when I'm able, the Canadian Space Agency and NASA, along with the European Space Agency, as well as utilising climatic chambers at my own university and the Comstar telecommunications organisation for that new radio satellite, or that new hybrid satellite. This research all forms part of research within my joint research centre in artificial intelligence for health and wellness between Ontario Tech University here in Canada and the University of Technology in Sydney, Australia. We are creating systems to monitor and to help with the development of the physiology of tactical officers, firefighters, preterm infants, astronauts and divers, all who are existing in these extreme environments, either due to the natural environment or the man-made environment caused from their professional working environment. So I hope you've enjoyed this presentation today. You can follow my research on Twitter. I have the links there. Also, again, the information about my mission on the International Space Station called Space Health. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation on astronaut health, wellness, resilience, and adaptation on long-range missions. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.